So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 117,400 US dollars. We've gotten our breakout, and with that, we're now in the target range of my bull run goal. We've talked about it again and again over the past few months. 115K to 122K was my bull run target. That's where we are now, last night, or rather, we're definitely still in it, and we should definitely be cautious here. Why is that? What's the reason? I've dug up some data in the meantime. Of course, we'll also take a look at the altcoins, which are currently shooting up significantly, especially Ethereum, and of course XRP has now also more or less reached its target zone. We'll definitely take a look at how things are going to continue in today's update video. Of course, we'll also check out the heat map. We'll look at the indices and everything else that matters. But before we get started, feel free to give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and signal group. If you're up for updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the free link for that down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we talk about here, including buying altcoins on spot and even some of the indices, you can do all of that on my partner exchange, BingX. Right now, you can secure up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses. Just sign up using the link down in the video description or in the comment section. By doing so, you support the channel, or rather, you support me. Alright, let's dive right in. Bitcoin, as mentioned, is at 117,400 US dollars. By now, you probably know this chart inside and out. This is the chart we've always shown during the live streams, with my target prediction for the bull run top, assuming we stay a bit conservative, and that was between 112 and 122,000 US dollars. And that's exactly the range we're in right now. The FOMO is starting to kick in. We're also seeing a bit more volume coming in, which is a positive sign. But that doesn't mean we're going to instantly bounce back completely here. It's just that we're now in this zone where I said, okay, now we should slowly but surely start to be cautious. What does that have to do with? There are several indications. Up here, we have the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. We have the 0.786 from this move since Donald Trump took office, sitting up here at 122,000 US dollars. Then yesterday, during the live stream, we also took a look at the Bitcoin index chart. We compared, what were the last tops like? What were the last moves like? Here too, from the top of the second to last bull run in 2017, we drew a line because someone pointed it out. Even there, we would be up here at this resistance from 7 or 8 years ago at around 122,000 US dollars. So you see, the confluence in this area is so high up here for a reason, which is why this has always been my top zone from the beginning, or why I expected to top up here. So far, we have, I would say, a very, very strong weekly close. If we stay on the weekly chart here, it currently looks very, very bullish. Of course, in terms of volume, it's not really ideal, but we can just set that aside for now. But if the week closes like this, it's absolutely bullish. But the week isn't over yet. We had weeks like this back in the bull run too, absolutely bullish, and then they even closed red. Here, a wick above, closed below the last all-time high, and then we went into the bear market. So that means we're right in this crucial phase right now. If the week closes like this or as high as possible, it's absolutely bullish and we can go much, much further. Then even our bull flag, if we leave this drawn here as a bull flag, would be up there at 144,000 to 150,000 US dollars, and that would be the exaggerated bull run target that I would have in mind. Otherwise, all of this is still very, very vague. I know, it looks really, really good at the moment, no matter which time frame we look at here. Even on the 4-hour chart, the volume, well, it's not that great anymore. Let's turn on an indicator, namely our vector candles on the 4-hour chart. But for that, let's switch to the Binance chart and take a look at it. There we see, okay, we've got quite a bit below us. And I already mentioned this yesterday, I would have really preferred if we had at least seen a retest down here before continuing the trend. We also talked about it yesterday in the live stream, that there are quite a few bearish things we should be paying attention to. And that's what I didn't want to keep from you here in the video, not keep from you. Specifically, it's this smart money, dumb money indicator here. That means smart money, that is, the big players out there in the market, are aggressively selling stocks, at least. So this is only referring to the stock market here. Why are they doing that? On the way up, there's heavy selling, and on the way down, they're buying in. And that's exactly what this indicator shows. Whenever this indicator is below 0.3, that is, when this blue line, or rather, when the blue line drops below this dashed line down here, there was usually a dump, and then, in the end, the correction, so to speak, or the correction slowly started, and then smart money began to accumulate. Dumb money is basically retail money, and this is also shown again by this article here, which someone in our group shared. It says that in the last 9 out of 10 weeks, smart money or the big players have massively sold stocks, and only retail, so to speak, has kept buying in 28 out of the last 30 weeks. That means retail is already in the market, and the big players just keep selling more and more into this euphoria. I can imagine the same thing happening with Bitcoin sooner or later, because this candle we've just seen, let's say, in 2 days, an 8% candle. Of course, we all wish for something like that, but as I said, the week isn't over yet. If the week closes like this, it's absolutely bullish and we can start talking about higher targets. The way things are right now, you still have to be a bit cautious and think about taking some profits. As I said, we've now basically reached my bull run target for the time being. At least the range has been reached. We're right in the middle of it, 5,000, and 2,000. We can go higher, and we're already 5,000 above my minimum target, which we've now reached. And yeah, like I said, I already mentioned yesterday that I'm still short, but that's a different story. Like I said, the position is slowly but surely being hedged, and I also still have a lot of open altcoin positions at the moment. So for now, I'm not touching those, and I'm also still partially long on BTC. So ride the wave as long as you can. Try not to short against it, especially if we look at the funding rates. For the first time in a long while, they're actually completely average again. It's a good sign that finally a bit more longs are coming into the market. Plus, the heat map is pretty much empty by now. We're looking at the daily view here, and up here at around 118, right where we are now, and down below at 111 and 109. That's already started to accumulate. So let's go through the days now. 3-day average, there's nothing left to the upside. So right now, only shorts are being liquidated here. Then to the downside, the 107. Now let's switch to the 2-week view. Here, it's a similar picture. To the upside, it's completely empty. The next real zone is at 107,000, which means a 10% dump could easily happen here within minutes. Then the monthly view, same story, nothing left. And then let's go to the highest time frame, the 6-month view, and there's really nothing left in there. Yeah, exactly, we've completely blasted through. There's basically no liquidity left above us. That means any further rise now is either just retail, or we really get that spot demand, or just more short liquidations. That's what's currently holding us up right now. So really, it's time to start thinking about taking some profits, at least, and securing the positions you've made. And those are all the reasons why I've already started to go short in some cases, and not just blindly. Alright. That's all for now on that topic. I don't think we're expecting any more data today. The bond auctions were very, very bullish yesterday, so they went really well. Demand was high, so everything is going smoothly at the moment, as long as we don't let ourselves get distracted. Otherwise, as I said, from an economic perspective, in my opinion, all of this is being driven more by macro news. Alright, I've already been talking about Bitcoin for 8 minutes now. Now let's move on to the altcoins. They're popping like crazy. Ethereum has broken out. Our target up here has now been reached, at least for now. The inefficiency up here at $3,017, $3,019 was perfectly filled. We've still got room up to 3,400. Let's see how long this lasts. Like I said, we've got the golden pocket up here. Last time, it wasn't reached from our low. Do you guys remember that? Maybe there's still a bit of a risk, I'll just say, not just with Bitcoin. Bitcoin all-time high, that's all well and good, but the altcoins and even Ethereum could still be facing a bigger correction. From our top down into the golden pocket, which is also called the dead cat bounce, and then the rally to the downside could still continue. So we need to get above that to really become more bullish in the altcoin sector as well. We can do that with almost all altcoins. They're all moving. Solana has finally broken out of our, downward channel. You could say by now, after we were consolidating here forever and had those long opportunities, it broke out to the upside. The target here is also $180, or if we look at the whole thing on a daily basis, the first goal would be to get above $168. If we get that, and I also mentioned this in the live stream yesterday, if we get a higher high and then drop down again and try to form a higher low, the whole situation looks completely different, and then we might actually be able to expect an altcoin season. Looking at the traditional markets, the DAX has, initially failed at its all-time high. But we still have some room here, as we discussed yesterday. Up to around 24,800 points, the Nasdaq just failed to break the 23,000 point mark. Here too, we definitely still have some room to secure these levels in the coming days, or maybe even today. And then the Dow Jones is also just below its all-time high. We missed it here by just 0.3%. Here too, we still have a bit of room. The volume is steadily leaving the market here. That's what I meant earlier. Massive sell-offs by big players, low volume at all-time highs, and retail investors are buying. Those are all my negative points that I still see at the moment, which we should simply keep an eye on. And the S&P 500 remains at all-time high levels. So basically, the market looks great. If you just ignore the other 99% of negativity, everything actually still fits together pretty well. Gold is pumping, and not just gold, if you remember, silver too. Where I said, okay, there's breakout potential here, silver has also been pumping in the last few days, and at the same time, we're seeing a recovery in the US dollar, which could still become dangerous. Never underestimate the power of the world currency. You could really put it that way here. Dollar is rising, Bitcoin is rising. Right now, everything is really going up. Everything is moving in a confluence that really shouldn't even exist like this. Next negative point you might want to pay a bit of attention to. If the dollar breaks out here, that's actually not really a good thing. Of course, for everyone who wants Bitcoin in euros, it's actually good for once, because then the euro drops a bit, which we've been waiting for quite some time now. Speaking of shorting the euro, that's still ongoing. It actually doesn't look too bad at the moment here, but we're still in an uptrend. That means if the dollar strengthens a bit again here, it could also have effects on other things. Also on indices, on the carry trade in Japan. So you can see, it's pretty broad-based. Right now, we're in a state of euphoria. We're in the greed phase, so just take profits. Don't try to jump into any positions with too much leverage right now. Wait for a pullback, and then go long, especially with altcoins. As I said, that's a really good opportunity. We can quickly take another look at Chainlink as well. Here, this was my forecast yesterday during the live stream. If we get above $15.66 and really stay above it, that means a daily close today, though yesterday would have been even better, a daily close above that level. If we hold above it, then get a pullback, that's when the altcoin rally happens. Those are simply the points I'm paying extremely close attention to with altcoins right now. That means, for example, we would now move up towards $16, then pull back to the 1.05 level or the golden pocket. That would be the textbook entry for an altcoin season. Bitcoin consolidates. Bitcoin doesn't necessarily have to go up, but capital then flows from Bitcoin into the altcoins. And then this altcoin season comes, and that's exactly what I want to see right now. Just so you have the full picture. We'll take a closer look at XRP later. It's Friday, as you know, so there's always a new extra video, and later we'll take a closer look at XRP. Otherwise, enjoy the profits you've made. Also, remember to take some profits off the table. In any case, I wish you all a great start to the weekend. As I said, there will be an XRP update later, and otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. Thank you for watching. We'll, catch up again later for the XRP update, and otherwise, leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group, and if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, feel free to sign up with my partner exchange BingX. We'll talk again later. Until then, ciao ciao, and as always, stay cryptic.